Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back. We are live from Leipzig, Germany, and the DreamHack Open in Rocket League. $50,000 on the line for the best Rocket League teams in the world, and we are officially halfway through day number 2. 4 teams moving on into day number 3, and all these teams competing for that shiny trophy on the stage. Your teams that have qualified thus far through today are Equinox, NRG, Flipside Tactics, and PSG. 2 teams from North America and 2 teams from the European region. Funny how it works that way. My name is Axel Toss. Welcome back to the Analyst Desk. I'm joined here by Gibbs and Gregan. Guys, I've seen a lot of awesome Rocket League today, and believe it or not, we might see even better Rocket League as we continue forward.
The group of death coming up.
Cannot wait.
But I have to say, I had a very awkward situation. So I went to the bathroom during that last series, and I see Rizzo by the sink, and so I tap on the shoulder. I'm like, hey, you should just, I was like, go kick some butt.
Yeah.
Well, the problem was,
It's biased.
there was 4 sinks, and I'm here. Here's Rizzo.
Yep.
The problem was, Violent Panda was in the sink to the right of me.
Oh, no.
So that was a little bit awkward.
Did you apologize to Violent Panda? Did
No,
you say the same thing to him?
Yeah, I was like, just go kick some butt too, I guess.
Yeah.
It was really awkward. I just got out of there as quickly as I could.
My gosh.
It was rough.
I guess we'll see what happens, Gibbs. You gave your blessing to one before the other. But let's take a look at this group of death, because it's pretty ridiculous. And I don't know whose fault this is, the fact that this group is so tough. Is it the dudes for just winning? It's
Dignitas. Well, it's Dignitas and the dudes.
Okay.
They took out G2. The dudes, they took out Team Secret. So that's why those 2 were in second place in their group. And now we got the top 2 seeds. Gale Force, #1 seed. G2, the #2 seed. E-League Finals rematch coming up. This series is going to be insane.
And to remind everyone of the format, basically take that top name in the group and the bottom name of the group. They play each other. The middle 2 play each other. And it's double elimination with 4 teams in the group. So just the same format we've been doing the whole day, just to keep everyone reminded. But we actually had the chance to talk to Violent Panda about his thoughts on this weekend's tournament. Let's check it out.
Hitting overtime, a lot just falling too far back, not able to be there for the final shot for his teammate.
Getting first in RLCS, winning the tournament, and getting second at E-League was a confidence boost for us. Of course, it sucks that we got second at E-League. We expected to win that one, but things happen. If I lose a tournament, of course I'm sad, but in general I try to work it out myself. I hide my emotions, I don't rage or whatever. Our team is a really passing-based team. We like to go for passing plays, really standard plays, to be honest, not flashy plays, just try to work as a team and try to score goals out of team plays. My role in the team is just to calm everyone down in tournaments, just keep everything together. K-Dop is a really funny guy in communication, so that also helps. And in general, we are good friends. We fit well together and we have fun. Having already played 2 DreamHack, getting second in both of them kind of sucked. But after all, we're just trying to win this one.
Oh man, this is truly turning into a classic matchup. Gale Force Esports quickly rising to the top of the Rocket League Esports competitive space. G2 more or less been there and trying to stay there. And the question has always been consistency with this team. Again, the most recent major battle between these 2, we saw G2 come on top in the E-League Cup, but that wasn't a it wasn't just absolutely in favor of G2, it was still incredibly close. So G2 versus Gale Force. I don't even know what we're in store for here, guys.
I mean, the story is always Gale Force in the final, and unfortunately for them, they do come out second far too often, but it's never to the same teams.
Yep.
The last time these guys played was in E-League, and that was their chance against G2.
Yep.
G2 won that, and they've got a grudge match to come back against them. And ultimately, Gale Force are just a very, very strong team that everyone is scared of.
It's so hard to be consistent at the top level of Rocket League, but Gale Force, no matter what, every single time, you're guaranteed to see them probably in top 2, probably in the finals. They may lose a lot of those, but no other team comes close to the finals appearances from them. And these guys, they all started in DreamHack Summer. The very first time we saw this roster was right after Turbo won his first World Championship. He came over to Gale Force. In their very first tournament, they made it all the way to the finals to lose to Flipside. So Everyone expects to see them in day number 3, but they're in the group of death. It's going to be really tough.
Very tough.
They are such a clinical team, and they're a reason they're always consistent at the top. But if there's any team that is here to disrupt that process, it might be the team on the other side here. It's G2, and a lot of it has to do with this guy. It's JNaps. Time and time again, JNaps just shows all of us how immortal he is in this game with these ridiculous plays. He had our goal of the day yesterday.
Indeed.
And when it really counts, he's able to pull it through. But can G2 do it in this moment?
You need to be more than just an individual at this level, and that is why their opponents are going to be such a challenge. But Kronovi, the OG best player in Rocket League, he is still around, and we love seeing him still at the top. And I want to see him step up, because yesterday he wasn't performing at his best, and perhaps today is that chance for him to do so. But there we go. That's Rizzo.
Yep.
The man you touched in the... That's I shouldn't say. The man
I touched in the bathroom. Yes, Rizzo.
Yes, you tapped him on the shoulder.
There he is. But G2, it's all about the passing plays with them. Like, if they're on, they can beat anyone, and we've seen it before.
Twitch chat, it's time for you to make your voice heard. You're not allowed to spam except for now. Either hashtag Galeforce if you think Galeforce will win, or hashtag G2 if you think G2 will win. I guess lazy people might just do G2.
I was thinking that,
two keystrokes there on the keyboard. But get your votes in right now. I'm looking at the chat. I see a lot of G2. There's a Galeforce here and there, so it looks like G2 a little bit favored right now. We'll get those results in a second, but we got to make our predictions, and I don't know what I'm going to say. So, Gregan, you first.
Well, I'm going to firstly predict that G2 are definitely the favorites for the crowd, and definitely the favorites for the Twitch chat, because they've got such iconic members in that team. But I don't think there is anyone who analyzes Rocket League who would vote against Galeforce, because they have consistently shown they are one of the best teams in the world, if not the best. And I think today we're going to see them on stage for the first time winning a game.
So I analyze a lot of Rocket League, but sometimes I analyze soap levels. And Rizzo used a little bit less soap. I'm not saying his hands were dirty. They're kind of clean, but Violent Panda's hands were a lot cleaner. He was scrubbing them
What happens in the toilet should stay
I'm
in
just
the
saying,
toilet. You shouldn't bring this stuff up.
I'm just saying, maybe don't shake anyone's hands that are named Rizzo. So I'm going to go Galeforce Esports.
Oh, man, guys. I have to agree with you here. Galeforce is just such a good team. They're always consistent, always at the top, but that doesn't mean G2 can't come out and win this, because they have a knack for doing that. So any G2 fans out there, you should be happy that we're all picking Galeforce, because generally that leads to G2 just pulling off a ridiculous upset because they are perfectly capable. And now I want to see what the Twitch chat said. We're going to see the results pop up on the screen here. So there you go, 78% in favor of G2. So certainly the fan favorites in this particular instance. And we can't emphasize enough just how brutal this group is. So I would love to say G2 and either of these teams can come through, but no matter what, there's going to be some difficult matches forward for both these guys. So we'll see what happens here. I want to invite our commentators into the discussion. Of course, we got Quinn and Achieve standing by. Guys, are you surprised about the Twitch chat there, all picking G2, and what are your thoughts on this match?
Not surprised at all about Twitch chat.
Maybe just a little bit biased, Twitch chat, just a little.
But I would like to say that I have picked against G2 twice, and I was right both times. But I'm picking Galeforce this time. G2 looked real rocky yesterday. Galeforce, they've said on Twitter, sure, a little bit. They weren't fully ready or fully prepared. They didn't feel to really come here to the DreamHack Open, but I mean, they kind of crushed everyone they played against.
Yeah, I just don't know how you can vote against the two-time.
Exactly.
He's a champ.
You don't have to vote against the two-time. You also have to bet against Violent Panda and K-Dop. It's all Galeforce for me.
Yeah, I almost wish we had like all best of 9s today, but then this day would be even longer.
Really long.
We're dealing with the best of 5. It's Galeforce versus G2. Let's get into it. Quinn and Achieves, take it away.
Let's get into it. Is right. So we both think Galeforce. G2 is they can really do it if they put their minds to it, but they need to clean up that defense yesterday. There were a lot of missed clears off the back wall yesterday from the entire team in general, and they took themselves out of position a few times. Kronovi has a bad habit of doing that occasionally.
Well, for me, the big issue yesterday was actually Rizzo's performance. I felt that Rizzo just was missing balls that he really just, it doesn't happen very often, and that could be due to travel, it could be due to a variety of reasons, but it just felt like he could never get settled or felt comfortable playing the game. And we saw G2 start off so hard with that crazy goal from JNaps.
Yeah, and then never
just
again.
Disappeared afterwards. So hopefully that won't be the case for today.
Well, here's game 1, E-League final rematch here. And it is Gonna be a good one. Gale Force, first time seeing them on stage here at the DreamHack Open, ready to see what they've brought to Germany. Brought to Germany is probably a much better way to phrase that. But here comes G2 out of the midfield. Great pass to the top of the box and just didn't get all the way around the ball. It was a good chance to start off things on the right foot for him.
Yeah, good pressure immediately out the gates for G2.
Same thing for Gale Force. Another great pass out to the top of the box and just can't quite convert it. Violent Panda. Hard out to the side, trying to give K-Dop a chance at it. Probably just a back pass here. Never mind, they will go straight up the wall. Turbo Pulsar was demoed by Rizzo. This has a chance for 1-2, and it'll be just off the mark. A good shot from JNAPS, but needs a little bit of fine-tuning here to start things off. K-Dop beat to the ball and rifled at the right side of the net. It will be stopped with a follow-through from Rizzo's there. G2 on the board first.
Yeah, taking the lead, excuse me. JNAP's a great first touch here, and then Kurnovi getting in the way of Violent Panda and Turbo Pulsar. That's huge because it brings that ball out all the way up the field for Rizzo to clean it all up.
So a really nice start for G2 here. All of us on the desk not fully confident in how they would open up or perhaps perform versus this Gale Force crew, but it's been a decent start. This one down to the left side, a double commit, but they will get it out to safety. A nice demo takes him out. This is going to be a tough shot, and the bar saves him. And the follow-through, it's also the bar. Gale Force maybe a little bit shell-shocked as that one's going to be wide of the mark, too.
3 powerful shots here coming from Gale Force. Unfortunately, not able to put those on target. G2 is going to be counting their luck.
Very, very lucky indeed for G2. Frustrating for Gale Force, but you've got some time. You do have a little bit of room for error here in a best of 5, so might be able to get away with that one as it's off the bar again. Violent Panda just able to get in front of it. I've always really enjoyed watching Violent Panda on this Gale Force crew. Any team he's played on, really, he's been such a fantastic support player for any team he's been on. And just missing the demo there. K-Dop around the corner. Should be easy for Kurnovi. Top of the box. Dangerous play, and that is just out of reach for Kurnovi. He got a hand on it, but not enough.
Yeah, this is such a good pass here from K-Dop. Looking, expecting to read that clear coming from G2. Just going for the dunk there, putting that ball right in front of Violent Panda.
So a really nice answer from Gale Force. A welcome one at that, considering their shot accuracy just a few minutes prior. This one will be tapped into the side. Violent Panda. That's a nice little pop out into the middle. That's a good pass lined up. Tries to lead K-Dop, and wisely JNAPS to cut it down. Rizzo trying to get out there in front of that ball from Turbo Pulsar to himself, and quickly G2's defense has really been very proactive. They're actually beating Gale Force to a fair portion of these balls. An uncharacteristic miss, unchallenged in the middle of the box from Gale Force, but they will get out of their own half. I do like the speed that we're seeing out of G2, though, as that one's to the right side and just kept away.
Yeah, a lot of very quick rotations, fast pressure, and really trying to distribute this ball constantly for G2, leading to like a lot of pressure on Gale Force.
Turbo Pulsar going to wait his turn here. Double commit out of the midfield for the G2 Army. Giving right back. Trying to keep this one on the ground. K-Dop caught a little bit too much of it, though. Thankfully, it's given right back to him. JNAPS again to the safety of the corner. We approach a minute and a half. It's kind of been a little bit of back and forth. Time seems to have gone very quickly in this game number 1.
Absolutely.
Kurnovi, top of the box. Great pass into the middle and off the back wall. A nice save from K-Dop. Calm, cool, and collected as always. Gale Force have had some of the best defense all year long, or at least throughout all of 2017, you could find in any Rocket League team. They're a hard nut to crack for sure, but they might do it here. Passed upfield, second chances there, and just able to make it back out of the midfield. A great stop from TP. Bounce into the midfield. Kurnovi's there to get it into the midfield. His touch will net G2 a chance at it as the final 60 begin to tick. Out to the side, high touch. No real way to continue the attack for Gale Force as that's off the roof and just skidded right towards the middle of the net. Violent Panda, though.
Such a good pass there. They recognized that there was a member of Gale Force on the wall waiting for the wall clear. They instead opted to just pass it straight to the center field. That's so close to scoring that goal for G2.
Now the final 30 straight sideways. G2 really forcing the issue in the midfield. And Rizzo in charge on the side. K-Dop gets a piece of it. Just bombed off the back wall. They take the boost, and that's out into the middle, and there's only a clear for Turbo Pulsa. Again, just stopping their ability to get out of their own half. Kranovi on his rotate back, dangerously close to maybe own goaling it. As the final 5 now in front. Gale Force trying to get one last attempt here before overtime, and that will hit the ground. It has one last chance, and they will probably just drop this one down. I wasn't sure what happened there. I think K-Dop got a little bit of a weaker touch on that than he wanted, but either way, we're OT in game 1. Turbo Pulsa, no way to continue, nothing in the gas tank. And again, just right over his head, he has to watch it sail on by. J-Naps almost getting dunked out by K-Dop. As G2 have put on a pretty solid showing here in game 1. I kind of thought that Gale Force might come out, put the hammer on him in game 1, but they've kept pace pretty well.
Absolutely, G2 doing a lot of really good interference play and cutting off Gale Force, something a lot of teams kind of avoid doing. They get scared to pressure Gale Force and then just let them have their way with them.
It was definitely a great improvement from the G2 we saw yesterday. This is the first time we've seen Gale Force play on stage here at the DreamHack Open. As this one will be rolled around the side, dropped in front, dangerous play for G2. As that is a great challenge from J-Naps, a lot of distance on that clear as well. Gale Force forced back onto defense. Pass to the top of the box. Nobody's home for G2, though. And he returns salvo from Gale Force. Up the side, there's K-Dop to go and get it into the corner. He needs one more touch to get it by, and it will be kept at bay by G2. Hard off the side to himself, and quick to cut it down was Turbo Pulsa. Violent Panda goes over the top of another, and J-Naps now in command in midfield.
Something we're so used to seeing from Gale Force is their ability to create space through passing, but we haven't seen that this game at all. G2 doing such a good job at pressuring them, and it stops them from creating these passing lanes because there's just no time for them to slow the ball down.
Yeah, they really haven't needed any time to adjust to the pace from Gale Force. In fact, if anything, Gale Force kind of have had to play up to G2. They have strung together a couple of chances on this G2 half, though, in this overtime, as here's another one. J-Naps out to get it nice and early. Going to collect the midfield boost on the way out. Actually went for the ball first, and that might net a good opportunity for G2, trying to sneak it into the lower right-hand side, but still that lockdown Gale Force defenses. J-Naps thought about going boost, realizing defending the net more important, though. Turbo Pulsa to delay just a little bit of time, as again, G2 right on top of things in the midfield. Out into the side, there's a great challenge from Rizzo on the rotate back, and still Gale Force now struggling to get this ball out of their own half a little bit. Trying to pass this ball out of their own half. It's Turbo Pulsa giving way to K-Dop, as now Gale Force figuring out how to continue. Nice little cut from G2, crowding each other, but they're able to push it onto the blue. As into the midfield, pass to Rizzo. They need one more out into the middle, and again, nobody's there. It's a good setup, but unfortunately the finish just not there for G2. Hard off the back wall and muscled through. K-Dop's gonna find the net, and that, just like that, Gale Force take game 1.
Yeah, finally able to break this overtime. We see Gale Force putting on an onslaught of pressure, using that backboard to really help create some of those passing opportunities.
So a really nice show from Gale Force. I mean, credit to where it's due. G2, I like the pressure, I like the speed, but there were a few times in that overtime they had a pretty decent setup, and just nobody was there to try and finish the job for them. And Gale Force finally had a little bit of space to work with, took it and ran with it. We talked about it in the last series, actually. You can't give any of these teams any amount of time to work with, and Gale Force did just that.
Right, just a little bit slow off of the defense. They're trying to get that 50-50, just wasn't good enough. Like we saw, Gale Force able to push that one in on through, but G2 doing a really good job at limiting Gale Force's offensive opportunities.
For sure.
It's not something that you see often, and we heard it mentioned before, Gale Force maybe not as practiced as they'd like to be coming into this tournament, and that might be affecting their play style.
Yeah, and it really is a huge turnover for G2. Yesterday, it was not pretty yesterday. So it's good to see them come out here, put up a good show, against Gale Force. And, you know, that might be a little bit of the world champion effect coming through. You know, you're playing the best team in the world almost unquestionably. And you say, all right, you know, we got to really lock down here, play some solid Rocket League. And G2 have done just that. So they've got 4 more games to work with here.
Absolutely. We see G2 sometimes struggle against teams maybe not as high quality as them, worse teams. Yeah, but they always seem to try to rise to the occasion.
As we move on into the Badlands, Gale Force looking to start off strong, and Turbo Pulse off the side, finds the back 7 seconds in.
Oh, just such good.
Quick 1-2.
Issues like going also for the half of that little extra bit of power, and it's so difficult to defend.
So really nice touch. G2 caught a little bit off guard, a little bit of a wheel wiggle from K-Dop. Before we get going here, as Kronovi gets a little bit on that ball, but G2 gonna have to play from behind. It's never fun to start off a game just immediately down a goal, especially versus a team like Gale Force, because we can take a lead and hang on to it no problem.
Right, it's going to mean that G2 can't just sit idly by the whole game, and they're going to have to start to bring the pressure to Gale Force.
The onus is on them. Risk. Exactly. And Gale Force is really great at taking advantage of some more aggressive risk that a team might take. As Jane Apps around the wheels, and that will be Violent Panda saying, we're not going to let you do anything. We saw what you did yesterday, and we refuse to let anything silly happen. As G2 trying to get one out in front. It's got too much height. Rizzo trying to keep the drive alive for G2, but did take away that corner boost. That was what Kronovi was talking about in his interview yesterday when we saw them again. Said that it's very simple. We just have to get boost control, get the ball, and then we'll start passing. And they're looking to do just that. Into the middle, there's a bump, and Jane says thank you very much. It's wide open.
I think Violent Panda may be expecting somebody here to come and help him out. We see K-Dop getting bumped up over in the net, and that ball just floating in, and he just not realizing that K-Dop did not have a chance to get that ball, is unable to do anything in the net.
So a nice show of aggression from G2. It really all went back to that one steal of boost in the corner because Gale Force just didn't have anything to really get that ball out. So the G2 philosophy works out just as expected there as Gale Force look to get it right back, and a nice stop from Kronovi on the back wall.
He just barely getting that. Oh, this shot! What a shot there, passing it to himself off of the wall. Look at this play here from Rizzo. Such a quick shot there. There's no defender. Once he recognizes that goal's open, there's nothing that Gale Force can do in taking the lead for G2.
Really nice shot there from G2. Take the lead right back. You say, all right, you started off this game, but now you're the ones who are going to have to work for it. And we'll see if G2 can hang on to the lead versus the world champs. As pass off the back wall, there's a 1-2 tap off the ceiling. Rizzo's going to go and get it, and he just couldn't get the angle to try and fit that around the defender. K-Dop on it almost immediately, covering so much space. Turbo Pulse up the side and around, and caught a piece of him, but still, Rizzo able to get the wheels on it at least. Violent Panda to himself, quickly intercepted by Rizzo. Kronovi back to him, and again, Gale Force now the ones trying to shut down these passing lanes because G2's speed has definitely been very good. They've really made it difficult for Gale Force to move the ball out of their own half.
Absolutely.
At least for free.
Moving a little bit further back and not passing very close to Gale Force's corners doesn't let them sit in net and get easy defensive clears. They have to take risks by coming out of the goal.
Violent Panda going to collect the corner boost and going to have to wait on this shot. Turbo Pulse is already there, though, to himself, and just able to get the ball to himself as K-Dop is like, hang on a minute, you still got this going. Rizzo trying to make up for a little bit of yesterday's mishaps and make a good-looking goal here in Game 2. Turbo Pulse up the side and out in the middle for Rizzo. Long bombing in the corner. Does he have the continuation? He went for a bump, I think, but either way, K-Dop gets it out. Gale Force struggling, though, to get anything going really here in Game 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Not dealing with this pressure from G2 at all. We see G2 doing a lot of distribution.
Oh, is it open? Oh, thankfully it's wide. Gale Force a minute 40 to work with here. G2 have kind of stolen this game after it started off so well for Turbo Pulse. A long, clear, Violent Panda off the back wall. K-Dop gives way to his teammate. And K-Dop now in charge, and he will let that one go. He knows he doesn't have the boost in the tank. Gale Force again going to have to waste a little bit more time. Time definitely becoming a factor. This one out and across, and Turbo tried to get it behind him, but really well defended by JNAPS, covering a lot of area. This one out in front, 1-2 tap, solid save from Gale Force. G2 will be denied a big insurance goal here as we reach the 1 minute remaining.
That was a little too close to comfort for Gale Force there, because Turbo Pulsar was actually bumping K-Dop there on his rotation back into net. Oh, just able to make that.
Good pass across. K-Dop feeds Violent Panda. The 2v2 crew that won the UORL finds an equalizer.
Yeah, oh, what a pass. Controlling it there with the dribble, then using that side flip just to distribute that to Violent Panda and the wide open net. Gale Force so good off of the counterattack.
So a really nice job finding that equalizer. It took him a long time, from 4 minutes and 53 seconds to 43 left. It took him about 4 minutes to find the back of the net again, but at least they did it. And we're looking at 2 overtimes in a row now from these two guys, certainly living up to the E-League final rematch hype that it had going into it. As Rizzo over to JNAPS, just off the nose, and a disappointing miss for the all-star from G2. Long clear from Turbo Pulsar. Trying to track down a demo, he will find it. There is Violent Panda off the back wall. K-Dop nowhere to be found though. And he came in a little bit late, but does it make a difference? It does. He bided his time in the midfield, and G2 crack with 5 left.
Right, just this miss is not going to be enough here. Then we see both players double committing there at the end. Is going to leave that goal wide open for Violent Panda. Just more defensive miscommunications from G2. But 5 seconds left, they still have a shot.
They have a shot. This kickoff really going to show what they're made of. They got it exactly how they wanted it. Out to JNAPS. He doesn't have a strong continuation, and it will be immediately put to the ground. Gale Force up 2-0.
And they are going to be happy about that. These guys are warming back up. You see them becoming stronger on the field, dealing and adapting well to G2's playstyle. You mentioned before, Kenobi talking about the boost control. Well, we've seen less and less of that as the game's going on. The first game doing a really good job keeping Gale Force in their own half and actually controlling a lot of the boost, but this game it feels like Gale Force kind of understood what G2's game plan is and has adapted.
It really took Gale Force a while to get back into this game number 2. All the way, it took him till under a minute to finally get it going, and just K-Dop. I really thought he was going to be late to that challenge out of the midfield, and maybe G2 thinking he was going to be there already as well, and maybe they weren't as quick getting to that ball either. And Gale Force said, all right, we have a little bit of space to work with. Take it, score the ball. 5 seconds left. They couldn't get it going off the kickoff, and big smile from Turbo Pulsar, 2-time world champion. The only 2-time world champion, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. That guy has had a storied RLCS career.
Already.
Really just an incredible player, and I think this whole Gale Force roster really starting to pick it up.
And JNAPS, you see him right there. Kenobi right behind him, and Rizzo at the end of the line. They're all locked in. They don't even want to think about what just happened. They said, let's move on to game number 3. Don't have time for anything else. Kenobi has been around since the dawn of time for Rocket League. A competitor to the end. As here comes Violent Panda and K-Dop one more time at the start of game number 3. Gale Force looking to sweep G2. But it has not been an easy road for Gale Force. These have been very hard-fought victories.
Oh, this series could absolutely be 2-0 in favor of G2. This could have gone either way.
G2 have definitely had to fight some very, very well-played defense, and Gale Force have had to fight a very strong G2 offense. As that one probably should have found its way to the right side of the net. Just a missed touch there from Kenobi. Violent Panda figuring out where to go. Turbo Pulsar finds a block right in front of the net. K-Dop needs a helping hand. He tries to give it right back. K-Dop saw it coming, but a little bit too late. And they're going to have to scamper back on defense. G2 able to stall for now, but a bit of an awkward first minute for the Orange crew. They'll give it right back to Turbo Pulsar in the midfield. Rizzo up the side for Kenobi. 1-2 tap out into the middle, and it will be punched downfield by Gale Force.
Both teams just opting to attack directly through the middle here, but this is going to be dangerous for Gale Force.
Really nice job there from K-Dot, positioning himself in the net. He backed up to see where that ball was really going to come down on. Went and closed the distance as soon as he saw it. JNAPS needs a big touch here, and actually it will be Kronovi bailing him out. Very dangerous play, but they will hang on. Violent Panda trying to keep it close. Needs to get through 2. Hard bounce into the middle and easily cleared away by Kronovi. K-Dot pass into the middle, and it'll be off the back wall. There's Turbo Pulsa. Tries to go to the far post. I mean, it's a good idea, but there was just too many G2 defenders around that net. Yeah, he was trying to catch behind the defender's rotation. Unfortunately, it was just a little bit mistimed. Soft one towards the middle, and that will be a nice 1-2-3. Clear and on target. Nice save from Turbo Pulsa. And those are the beautiful passing plays that we do want to see coming from G2. Such impressive stuff, and the misdirection is so good. Violent Panda having a bit of a hard time getting this ball out into the midfield. G2 have a free ball chance here, but quickly on top of it was Turbo Pulsa. This one is out of reach, and he almost own goaled it. Thankfully, Violent Panda out of range. And G2, I mean, they really wanted that one to find the back of the net here. They need a win. Otherwise, they will find themselves sitting down in the lower half of their group stage, and it is a long road back. 2 wins in a row in the group of death is not an easy thing. K-Dot launches one over the top of 2 defenders. He's trying to get out in front. Very nice timing there on the save, though, from JNAPS. Took his time, waited for K-Dot to commit to that dunk, and has pushed it all the way back onto the Gale Force side, but Violent Panda does it the same way the other side, and it will be flubbed. That is not going to find the back of the net. Tough break for Gale Force. Right, we've seen so many attacks here. Just nice pass and shut down. Just defensive play after defensive play. Neither team able to break each other's defense. JNAPS, again, making another solid stop. He's usually such an offensive powerhouse for this G2 team, but he's had to make a couple of big defensive plays for them so far in this Game 3. On the side, Kronovi trying to keep it close. Takes a bit of a hard bounce, though, and G2, again, going to be stuck on defense here for a bit longer than they'd like. Back wall from Turbo, a nice clear from Rizzo. JNAPS looking for Kronovi. It's got too much height on it. They'll probably lose the ball. K-Dot, no boost. Gonna have to give way to Violent Panda in the midfield. He's just gonna chill on his own half until he gets it. Under a minute. Perhaps another overtime looming. Turbo sizing up the challenge angle. G2 really have struggled to clear the ball out of their own half for the past 30 seconds or so. They finally get it out, but it is immediately pushed back onto the orange side of things, and Gale Force have had a lockdown midfield here for the past 30 seconds or so. Yeah, I can't remember the last time I think I saw them dribble in this match, just constantly going for these hard clears. Yeah. We talked a little bit about that a couple series ago. You don't want to make that mistake. Lose a challenge right in front of your own net. It's just so much safer to launch that ball downfield and try and chase it down. But here come the final 12 seconds. G2 again on the back foot. Turbo Pulsa trying to set this one up. Doesn't quite get the bump or the pass off, and perhaps overtime, but one last shot. He's going to try and go get this one. How about a 2-tap from the 2-time, and he almost did it. Stopped right in front of the net. That was just, my mouth is salivating at the sight of that shot. Well, we've moved into our second overtime of the series, as this is a free ball for Violent Panda, and that's a nice fake. Rizzo goes sailing past. He has regained possession from JNAPS' touch. This one up the side. Violent Panda waiting so patiently, gives a lot of ground. He knows he's got teammates in front of him. And again, the start of overtime, G2 pushed back onto their own half almost immediately. JNAPS cleared into the middle, right at Turbo Pulsa, off the ceiling, and there's Violent Panda, and that's gonna seal the deal. Gale Force sweep out G2. And Gale Force moving on through. This is gonna be just such a heartbreaker here for G2. Such a close fought series. The defense of both teams, absolutely incredible. We saw such few defensive errors from either team, really, and just always reading the play so well. Unfortunately for them, they're not going to be able to keep them going throughout. They certainly made him work for it. There's no doubt about that. I really liked, ever since the onset of this series, G2 were right up in Gale Force's faces, especially at the start. They said, we're going to make you work for it. And Gale Force really had to earn it. They played solid defense, just like they've played all throughout 2017, ever since the start. And this is that big finisher. Just Violent Panda up so early. Even then, they were right on top of that ball. Unfortunately, that challenge angle just wasn't quite there on them. And Gale Force, a well-deserved win. So, a clean 3-0, but it really could have went either way. G2 really fought for that one.
Yeah, absolutely. We did see some good attempts from them, and on the flip side for Gale Force, for their offense, it wasn't exactly what I was looking for a team looking to take this whole tournament. Gale Force maybe needing to kind of kick it up a notch in these next series. They'll need to if they want to keep on moving through.
Well, it's not the end of the road for G2 just yet. They've got more games to go through, but it's going to be against some tough opposition. It is the group of death after all. So, we've said our piece. Axel Toss, take it away.
Thank you, Achieves and Quinn. Gale Force with a 3-0 sweep over G2, and I'll fill everyone in on results from the rest of the matches that happened. It's sweeps all across the board. Dignitas 3-0 over Juicy Kids. GW, why am I spacing out?
Guess who?
Guess
who?
I wrote down, I guess that makes so much sense. Guess who 3-0 over the Dudes. Fnatic 3-0 over Secret. So sweeps across the board, guys, which means Gale Force is going to advance on to play against Fnatic, and that's going to be a deciding match to see who moves on to tomorrow. Without any further ado, we have to get the bathroom story from Violent Panda. I'm just kidding. We don't have to, but I know Gibbs.
I mean, it was awkward.
We have Violent Panda on standby from Gale Force Esports. You don't have to refer to the bathroom incident with Gibbs, but how are you feeling there after that sweep against G2?
Pretty confident. After E-League, we had something to prove, and I guess we did that against them.
So Violent Panda, how good did it feel to meet me in the bathroom? No, I'm sorry, to shut down JNaps? Like after the E-League Cup, where JNaps went off on you guys, like in the finals, you shut him down completely throughout this series. Was that a game plan, or was it just trying to play solid defense and scoring when you could here or there?
To be honest, I think in E-League we didn't play our game, and we tried to just figure it out. And I think we're just a little stressed, and the NA crowd was working against us. So being here in EU is beneficial for us, I guess.
And so you've been mentioning how your off-season hasn't been necessarily the best prep for this tournament, but you're obviously still a quality team. We've just witnessed that. Talk us through what you would do in a break from a major competitive Rocket League.
To be honest, we were just I went to my girlfriend in LA for 2 weeks, so I took a little bit of a break, and after that we just scrimed a couple times to played a little bit of tournaments here and there. We lost twice against Envy, and I think that's the only teams we lost against. So they're out of the tournament now, so maybe there's a
plain
chance
sailing now.
That's it.
And with that victory, very smooth sailing it appeared. Now you guys are going to be playing against Fnatic in the decider going into tomorrow. How are you feeling about Fnatic, and how are you going to prepare leading into that match?
Fnatic is a pretty solid team lately. It's pretty scary playing against them, but I think we can do it.
All right, Violent Panda, thanks for your time, and best of luck in your next match.
Thank you.
Violent Panda from Gale Force Esports, a very quick, very clean 3-0, but honestly it's a little bit closer than a lot of people might expect. We had an overtime in there. It's not like it was a huge goal differential. Let's go ahead and take a look at the highlights of that match. Again, Gale Force, a 3-0 sweep over G2.
And for G2 fans, it's what could have been. We had a long overtime in game number 1, and we see Gale Force take the win. Then G2 leads all of game 2 until the last minute, and Gale Force comes back to win it. So hats off to Rizzo, though. He was playing on the offensive side of the ball. Like in game 2, he was the offensive spark, not JNaps, making some big plays with that goal by himself, plus the goalie bumps.
Yeah, and you've got to respect this game as a closer game than a 3-0 sweep. We heard at one point, Quinn said it could have been 2-0 either way after game 2. And sometimes you just don't quite get the rub of the green. But I know in the future, G2 are going to try to step it up, make it more consistent, because a close game shows that you weren't performing enough to secure the chances to win. It means that you're leaving it down to a little bit of luck. So Gale Force and G2 need to step it up in the future if they want to perform and go on to win.
Well, speaking of which, G2 is actually going to drop down to play against Secret. I want to get y'all's thoughts on that real quick. What does G2 kind of need to work on, and how do you expect that match to unfold?
I still want to see some more G2 passing plays. We haven't seen it. When they're on defense, they have to counter by passing it up the field to JNaps, and then he should be able to seal the deal for him. But Team Secret, watch out. I'm sorry, G2 fans. We might not see G2 again. I'm picking Team Secret in that matchup. I don't know about you, Greg.
I think G2 can step it up. I've always backed Team Secret, but in this group, I think they are going to challenged themselves psychologically and put themselves out of the performance they could give. If they had come into this group and gone, oh, I reckon we could be second here, then I reckon they would step up the game. But it's going to be tough for them. Even if they do beat G2, they've then got either Fnatic or Gale Force. That's not going to be easy. And
you talk about some teams who might, they might thrive when they're on the ropes. G2 might fit into that category, so that might be benefit for them. But we're going to keep it going here at the DreamHack Open. You're watching day 2 of our coverage as we're counting down to Championship Sunday, trying to find out our top 8 teams. Coming up next, we have Guess Who going up against Dignitas. Both teams swept in their first round, and the winner of this next match will move on to tomorrow. We're going to take a short break here from the DreamHack Open. Stay tuned.